The motion passed.
根據刑事事宜
Second motion under the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Ordinance to approve the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech Republic order. Members who wish to speak on the motion would please press the request to speak button. I now call upon the Secretary for Security to speak and move the motion. Secretary for Security. President, I move that the motion as printed on the agenda on the resolution to approve the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech order be passed by this Council. In moving the motion on the resolution to approve the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Spain order just now, I explained the purpose of and importance of concluding bilateral agreements on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters between Hong Kong and other jurisdictions, as well as the procedural arrangements for implementing such bilateral agreements through the making of orders on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. Pursuant to the MLA Ordinance, the Chief Executive in Council has made the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech Republic order to implement the bilateral agreement on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters signed between Hong Kong and the Czech Republic to enable the MLA Ordinance to be applied as between Hong Kong and the Czech Republic. As specified in Schedule 2 of the Czech Republic order, certain provisions of the ordinance are modified to a limited extent. Such modifications do not affect that the order substantially conforms to the provisions of the ordinance. I now invite members to approve the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech Republic order. Thank you, President.
I now propose the question to you, and that is that the motion moved by the Secretary for Security be passed. Mr. James Toll. Mr. President, as Chairman of the Subcommittee on Fugitive Offenders Czech Republic Order, Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Spain Order, and Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech Republic Order, I speak on the resolution moved by the Secretary for Security. The Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech Republic Order applies to the mutual legal assistance in criminal matters between the Hong Kong SAR government and the government of the Czech Republic. It specifies the scope and procedures and the modifications to the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Ordinance, MLAO. Members have noted that Article 5 of the MLAO specifies the safeguards in processing a request from the requesting party. However, these safeguards provisions are not set out in the agreement between the Hong Kong SAR and the Czech Republic. Some members are concerned whether the power of the Secretary for Justice to refuse a request for assistance has been restricted under the Czech order. The administration has advised that in processing a request from the requesting party, Hong Kong shall observe all the safeguards as specified under Section 5 of the MLAO, subject to the modifications to MLAO as set out in Schedule 2 to the Czech order. To put it beyond doubts, members have requested the administration to, so far as practicable, set out in future other mutual legal assistance agreements the requirements in MLAO. Some members have expressed concern about Article 8.3, which permits the use of information obtained pursuant to a request to certain specific purposes that are not stated in the request, and the possible abuse of the information so provided. The administration has explained that the specific purposes are only confined to the prevention of serious crime and serious threat to public order. The information is not to be used when any such crime has already been committed, where a request for assistance would still be necessary. Thus, the primary rule that the information is not to be used for the purpose of any other investigation or prosecution still holds. The administration has pointed out that the provision is consistent with the exception in Section 58.2 of the Personal Data Privacy Ordinance, which provides for the exemption in cases where use of personal data is necessary for prevention of crime. Mr. President, the subcommittee has no objection to the Czech order. Mr. President, I'd like to express my personal views in the following. Mr. President, as I reported just now, the subcommittee would like the Hong Kong SAR government to, in the future MLA agreements, include those safeguard provisions instead of relying on the bottom line of our law as the safeguards. I make this remark because unless the other party makes strong opposition for those provisions to be written in the agreement, if we make an agreement with the other party without making clear these provisions, and yet we believe that there are safeguard provisions as to whether we should accept or refuse a request for assistance, and we wish to rely on the provisions as the ultimate safeguards, then the situation may not be desirable. First of all, on reading those provisions, the people of Hong Kong may not be aware of the specific circumstances. They may not understand whether these provisions are the core values of Hong Kong and which we uphold when entering into future MLA agreements. Secondly, we may also mislead our counterpart and their gatekeepers. For example, their members of the parliament and those who would rely on such provisions in making such requests to Hong Kong, for example, the lawyers, victims, or other related personnel who may wish to rely on these provisions in making such a request. So unless we have strong grounds otherwise, or unless we have no alternative but to choose between the lesser evil, so that we have to enter into such agreements with other jurisdictions without those provisions, we should, as far as possible, during the negotiation stage, strive to include these provisions in the agreement. And also, the specific purposes are only confined to the prevention of serious crime and serious threat to public order. Mr. President, I think that these jurisdictions and states must be those that we must enter into agreements without any alternative. Because if we are to exchange information on crimes, serious crimes or serious threat to public order, there are other channels available. For example, the Interpol, or according to the law, we may have similar legal provisions for doing so. However, if there are specific purposes as stated in the agreement, which may not be used for the convenience of preventing serious crime or serious threat to public order in another jurisdiction, we should consider the circumstances of the case in exercising or in implementing this provision. So unless it's absolutely unacceptable by the other party, we should try our best and not to allow the use of such information for these specific purposes.
Does any other member wish to speak? Secretary for Security, please reply. Mr. President, I thank Mr. James To for reporting on the work of the subcommittee in his capacity as chairman of the subcommittee, and may I again thank the subcommittee for returning the Czech Republic order to the Council. As I said, the Czech Republic order is in line with the MLAO.
The 2 points of concern to Mr. To will be taken into account in our future work. With this remark, I move the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Czech Republic Order. And I'll put a question to you, and that is that the motion moved by the Secretary for Security be passed. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of the members present. I declare the motion passed.
根據藥劑